A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Friday edition of the show. Promises to be exciting as always. It's the season of the World Cup. We just can't have enough of it. Thanks for joining us once again, Yemi Adebayo. Well, tonight on the show, we will focus on what's going on here in Nigeria. We'll talk about the just concluded elections in the Nigerian Olympic Committee. We'll talk about that as we move on the show. But then again, we will devote a lot of time to the FIFA World Cup. Upon us is the third place, and of course, the eagerly anticipated final dubbed the Mbappe versus Messi show, but definitely it is France up against Argentina. It's going to be very interesting to see. Around the World Cup, there are some stories of retirement, stories of coaches stepping down, stories of new coaches being employed. We'll talk about all of that as we move on. And also World Football Governing Body, FIFA, bringing some innovation into some of the competitions under their belt. For instance, we're talking about the FIFA Under-17 World Cup, FIFA Club World Cup, some changes coming into all of that. So I urge you to sit down, relax, even as we take you on a trip across the money-spinning world of sports. All right, so I'm not going to be alone. Of course, also Kodakman will join me later. Of course, I also have a guest with me right here in the Lagos studio, and we'll be doing this together. All right, so, of course, Ike Chukwedu joins me now as we take this trip together. Ike, greetings to you. Thanks for joining me on this lovely Friday.
Beautiful Friday, and we are counting down to the big game on Sunday, and also the third place match that will be happening tomorrow in Qatar. So it's a lovely day to discuss what's going to happen and what is going to unfold on Sunday. All
right, and of course, forgive us if that appears to be the major thing we are looking at, and because of that, we've decided we're going to start a little differently tonight. Even though it's the season of the World Cup, we'll be talking elections. And like I said, my colleague Austin Okon-Aikman will join me shortly as we take this trip together. He is currently in Doha. Let me just go straight to him since he's ready. I wanted to say suited, but I saw you're not on a suit today. So I assume the weather is very cold over there. But Austin is ready. Greetings to you. Nice doing this with you as usual.
As part of greetings to you, Yemi. You know, we just need to try to beat the deadline. There was no time, putting on the suits and the ties. So let's put a sweatshirt on the shirt I was wearing, just to come on the show. I'm super pumped up to be on the show tonight. We're counting down to the big final right here in Doha for the 2022 FIFA World Cup. What a story. Argentina and France, both of them have history right in front of their faces. We'll wait to see who football will favor. Same with the third place match, Croatia taking on the surprise package of the competition, Morocco. I still had a chance to speak to some persons involved with the administration of football in Morocco, and they told me again that they would like to leave this World Cup with a beautiful story by finishing third. So third place match will get us talking. Final match will get us talking forever.
All right, but we're going to start differently on the show tonight. Let's talk elections on the show. We'll start with the National Olympic Committee in Nigeria. And of course, it is no longer news that Abu Gumel has been elected for another term in office. 5 overall, third consecutive one that he has secured, and 5 overall. And of course, he's been calling for unity of purpose among members of the body after he was elected for another term. Gumel's victory at the poll, like I said, secured a third term for him. He defeated close challenger and former Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sani Danusa, at the elective congress that was held in Jalingo, Taraba State. And you have pictures on your screen of that event. Let's quickly listen to Abu Gumel and, of course, have him share his thoughts with us, and we'll come back for more on Sports Tonight.
Let me emphasize that these elections were not meant to divide the Olympic family, but rather to strengthen our democratic process and further strengthen our sporting value principles as one harmonious unit in line with global acceptance and best practices. The Olympiad is already in process with the Paris 2024 Olympic Games less than 2 years from now. Therefore, I enjoin all stakeholders in our national sports system to come together with the single purpose of ensuring a glorious outcome of our contingent, both at the Olympic Games and other international competitions. One thing that this new administration will endeavor is to focus on in the next 4 years is how to position the NOC family on a formidable financial platform, and that will ensure the delivery of stakeholders' expectation. This is one objective that we all have to jointly pursue vigorously. The Executive Board will be meeting in the near future to establish the key commissions and articulate programs under a new dispensation.
All right, Abu Gumel, of course, the president of the Nigeria Olympic Committee. Before I bring Ikena into it, let me just quickly get Austin's thoughts on this one, and I'll quickly turn to him. It's a group that you've followed, and we've all followed because of our job as journalists. I mean, if you look at the pictures that we put up, the who is who in Nigerian sports, they're all there. People who've been around for a very, very long time. And that should naturally give hope. That should naturally, make one be enthusiastic and say, okay, there's going to be a lot of changes. These guys have been around. This guy has been around for a long time. But first, let me ask you about your reaction to Abu Gumel winning that re-election, and whether or not it is joy or despair, just looking at that picture and looking ahead to the future for Nigerian sports.
I think it's same old same. When I found out he was, contesting again, going for a fifth term, I lost interest in following the elections. Because it's just going to be same old same. There's nothing about the NOC, unless when it's the Olympic circle. And every Olympic year, we get to hear the same old, same story. So when you have Abu Gumel and the same people doing the same thing that they've been doing, in fact, Abu Gumel, the only time he gets to speak to the press or when we see him in the media, at times like this where he gets to just talk about his re-election, doesn't come out to talk to the press. We don't get updates. We don't know about the plans of the Nigerian Olympic Committee. The rest of ideas on how to, get some things going for sports development in Nigeria. So I just wonder why the same, people, keep voting the same people into the NOC. And I'm sure if you ask people who are even following sports in Nigeria, they don't even know the function of the NOC, because the Nigerian Olympic Committee is doing almost nothing to even, expose their relevance. So truly, I don't know. When you hear somebody is going for a fifth term, I want to turn back and say, this is the reason why this person should be here for a fifth term. I struggle to talk about this because I know what I know about, the Nigerian Olympic Committee and how our athletes complain whenever they're going for the Olympics. So Abu Gumel, maybe this might be his last term. I don't know whether he has told himself he will go up to the 10th time. But if this is his last, I'm rooting for him to make a difference. Let's say something good about the NOC, But for me, I have no expectations. It's same old same.
All right, let me see if Ikena has something different. I gauge the mood. I listen to some colleagues on radio, on TV. For some, it was even not indifference like Austin. For some, it was despair.
Yeah, it is. And when I heard he was going for
not with the winner, but with the situation.
Of course,
seeing the same.
Is the situation. Even as Austin was talking, I was asking myself a question: can we find a solution to all these things we have in sports, this conundrum we have in the sports sector, whereby just a few people will elect someone, okay? And the sports, this thing is wide. the spectrum.
And the rules are skewed in such a way that it's the same set of people that gets to elect themselves over and over.
So it goes round and it comes. The same thing we complain about in the NFF, the same thing we are complaining about in the NO. So you see somebody coming out and he will be unopposed because the people that are voting him are almost his friends. People has done favors for. So I don't know what we are going to do to change it better by through constitution or something that will make sure that somebody maybe at least 2 terms is enough. If you are making an impact enough, then we can also maybe consider you for a 3rd term. But so far, like Kosti said, you don't just hear from them. They don't organize competitions, nothing. All of a sudden, during the election, you just hear from them. You just hear from he has won. He has contested for another term. So I think it might be depressing because you don't have anything. You might say, oh, this is what this board has done. This is the efforts they are making, or they have a plan. They continue. You can say, okay, let's allow them to continue and let's see where it will end.
There's some promising things.
Just like what FIFA has done now. I know we are going into that, but I'm not just to jump the gun. But you can see as Infantino has made a effort today. He has made a press conference today. He has mastered out the plans of FIFA from now to 2025. I mean, even if you're following FIFA, you understand where he's going.
Even if you don't agree.
Even if you don't agree. Even if you don't, I don't really. Maybe you don't like his policies. You don't like it. But at least he has put down his plans on the table, and you can see. So it's for you now to scrutinize. It's for you now to judge him and see whether those plans are in tune with what you have in mind for FIFA.
And you know what? It wasn't just about the president. It was an election, and a lot of people got on the board. So what we're going to do is just take a list of those guys. So let me just do that quickly, and that's it on your screen. Engineer Buguma, president, re-elected. Solomon Ogba, we saw in that picture, former AFN president, Athletics Federation of Nigeria. He is the 1st vice president. Ishaku Chikon is the 2nd vice president. Olumide Oyedeji, 3rd vice president, former D Tigers captain there in it. And of course, Olabisi Joseph, 4th vice president. Tunde Pukwola, general secretary. Musa Kida is the treasurer. And somebody from our constituency, Tony Nezaya, is the PRO of the Nigeria Olympic Committee. So those are the people that have been elected into the board of the NOC. All right, the elections was held in Taraba State, and it is no surprise that the governor he graced the occasion. He was present, became an honorary member of the NOC. They had a few words to say. Let's quickly listen to the governor of Taraba State, Darius Ishaku, promising support for the Nigeria Olympic Committee.
I want to assure you that we all together will put our best to make sure that Nigeria comes out in the world with a shining limelight and winning more of awards and in the Olympic, the future Olympic to come. Make sure that we participate fully. Added to that, I want to also thank you for this wonderful presentation of making me a member of the NOC. I want to assure you that I will fully participate as a member and to assure you that your well-given advice of encouraging our youths will be heeded to.
All right, that's it. The governor of Taraba State, Darius Ishaku, speaking his mind, pledging his support for the National Olympic Committee. Let me quickly get back to you, Ikena, and of course I'll bring Austin into all of this. Probably Austin has even answered the question I'm about to ask. If there's this, I don't want to call it gloom, but we're not upbeat.
Yeah, we're not.
I've gauged, yes, I've gauged the mood, and I've always believed that competence is not the problem of the administrators.
No,
probably maybe the journalists and every other person, probably we've been a bit docile. There's no pressure on them. the environment, because you know some of these guys from wherever they were before they came into some of these things, I mean, fantastic people, but it just comes into that system and everybody's folding hands and explaining.
But they can make a difference. They can actually make a difference. It's not as if the system, somebody can come into that system and make it work. That's what we're talking about. Somebody can come into that system and make it work.
It's part of all the challenges.
It's just that probably when they get in there, they just don't want to. Okay, and it's like you said, I don't really understand, because somebody can actually come in and say what does it take to? It doesn't cost an arm and a leg to call a press conference to marshal out your points. People are willing to do presentations. People can actually present to you what they're going to do in the future. You can actually do this. You can actually say, okay, you are going to the next Olympics. This is what Nigeria should expect. These are the programs we are going to do. This is what we are going to do on the grassroots level. It is what we're expecting. Let there be excitement in the air. Let people, even if if they go out and start looking for funds, some companies might not take them serious because there is no plan on the table. We are not seeing anything. Even if they have, we don't know. We are not seeing anything. We only hear about them during elections. So somebody else, forget the system. Somebody can go into that system and make it work.
All right.
So all right. I believe that if we watch what is happening, if we can read the room of what is happening around the world, everybody is stepping up in terms of sports.
Yeah.
We are lagging behind.
We are. There's nothing to add to that. Let me go to Austin. I don't know if Austin still wants to say anything about LOC, but look, don't let's flog a dead horse. And some of these people might just prove us wrong. I hope so, for the sake of Nigerian sports. But let's go to what you've been doing. I must commend you for a good job that you've been doing right there. It's part of the freezing cold and everything. The good job you're doing right there in Doha. But let's talk about what is upon us. The third place and, of course, the final. But let's talk a little. We have a few minutes before we go on break, but let me quickly get your thoughts on what you expect. You've told us that the Moroccans would want to make a mark. They've gotten there. I remember when an Asian team got into the semi-final, the first Asian team to do that, South Korea, they weren't able to get a bronze. I'm hoping that the African team that gets to the semi-final should, for legacy reasons, get a bronze so that we can have it on record.
That's what Moroccans are also so hoping for. And in fact, most Qataris that I've spoken to, they have ties with Morocco. They're rooting for Morocco to go all the way to finish third at this competition. I had an opportunity to speak to two members of the Moroccan FA, and they said that, look, for them, it would just be fantastic to wrap up, this year with a bronze medal from the FIFA World Cup. Don't forget the exploits they did right there with women's football, and they're continuing it with men's football. What a story Morocco has given to us at this competition. They must be proud. They should be proud of everything that they've done at this competition. And whether or not they win this third place match, I think they should leave Qatar with their heads high, but they are not putting themselves under pressure. They just said it to me. A beautiful story. They've made history. They've broken records. They just want to take it a step further. And beating Croatia tomorrow will be one, that will solidify everything that they've done this year with their football. So, yes, the mood in Qatar for the third place, going by, what I've seen and the people that I've spoken to, they're rooting for Morocco to go on to win it. And maybe football might just, give it to them. But the Croatian team also is one that is chasing history. They were finalists in 2018 in Russia, and now they were so close again to the final. They were stopped, and now they are in the third place. Most of the members of this team will not be at the next World Cup, so it will also be beautiful for them to win something, to be remembered for what they've done for their country. So that gives us a very crunch time in the third place match, Yemi.
All right, it's beautifully set up for an interesting encounter. I'm talking about our man Austin Okon-Akpan. Of course, he caught up with FIFA Council member Maju Pinnick and had some interesting discussion on the happenings at the World Cup and a whole lot of things. So we'll take a listen to that when we return from the break we're about to go on. We're going on a break right about now. And of course, on the other side of the break, you would be seeing Austin Okon-Akpan, of course, having that sit down with Maju Pinnick.
Council member from Nigeria, Amaju Pinnick. Good to have you join us on this special interview.
Always a privilege.
Awesome. Let's talk about what's going on in Qatar, the FIFA World Cup. From a FIFA Council member perspective, what sort of World Cup has it been?
If I say it's phenomenal, I think I'm not using the right adjective to qualify this. It's been beyond our wildest imagination, trust me. Everything has been easy. It's a spectacle beyond our comprehension. From traffic to vehicle activities to the quality of the facilities, the stadia, the training sites, the hospitals, the hotels, just beyond amazing. I can tell you that for free because it's something that we've eagerly anticipated, and we worked side by side with the Supreme Council for Delivery and Legacy from the Qatari government. And trust me, on a scale of 1 to 10, if I were to score this at this moment, I'll score 11. It's beyond 10, that I can tell you. I give you an example. There's nowhere I've been attending World Cup since 1998 till date. And I can tell you emphatically that we only struggle to watch maybe 2-3 matches, 4 matches at the most. This World Cup, personally, I've watched 54 matches. It's unprecedented.
You talked about the good things that Qatar has done, but as you see it on those VIP seats, as a Nigerian and the Super Eagles are missing from this World Cup, is it all about regrets for you?
Yeah, it's quite at the beginning. I felt very humbled. I felt very, very bad. Because it's not just about me or the country. A lot of people were concerned that Nigeria was not there, from the FIFA president to the CAF president to most of my colleagues in the council and most confederation. Where are the Super Eagles, So, but of course, they also understand that it is football. They also understand that football can tilt towards any direction. But trust me, that moment in March was my lowest moment since I was born. Because we did everything humanly, materially, spiritually possible to ensure. But like I would say, it's a story for another day.
But you've been accused that you used the NFF to get to where you are at the moment, and that you've not shown enough remorse, or you've not done things to ensure that Nigerian football picks up again.
How do you mean? How do you mean? Because it is, when I hear things like that, it hurts me because nobody wanted Nigeria to qualify more than I did. I know what I went through with Nike to have that jersey. We wanted, but for nothing to win our jerseys, we wanted to celebrate Nigeria. We wanted people to queue in the streets of London, in New York, in Doha, in those proud footballing nations and beyond. We wanted that. We had sleepless nights. But as you say, life must go on. Your primary responsibility is your family. And when I look at my family, would I want to die? No. So regret is not sitting at home and having blood pressure. Regret is when you think, you take a self-appraisal and say, where did you go wrong? If you won't believe you didn't go wrong anywhere, what is the next step? And that was exactly what we did. When we found out that, okay, what do we do? I called my executive together at that point, and we started and re-engineered our youth development program. And today, all our youth teams qualified for all the championships because we had to rejig our system. We didn't just stay back and kept crying that Nigeria did not qualify. People did not know all this. But we had to rejig our internal system. And trust me, it should not end with me, because the gospel I preach tomorrow is that qualification is very important, but football development is 10 times more important than just qualifying for tournament. Because if you have a proper football...
But you have to qualify for the World Cup.
Yes, listen, I'm not telling you that qualification is as important as football. You have to work very pursue. It is very, very important. But because development is what you can control, qualification is not what you can control, then you have to emphasize 100% on both. One is without your control, because when the level men get on the pitch, no longer you cannot control. There are too many things that I would want to also advise. It's not about all the administrators, because we keep losing the best brains if we keep pouring blames on the administrators.
But some people must be accountable.
Yes, I'm not telling you that people should not be accountable. But tell me, if I will ask you, what exactly did you do wrong? Let me ask you, as a journalist.
No, you tell me. Tell me some of the mistakes you made that you need to avoid.
But listen, in those two particular games, let me know. Those were the games because we led our group. Leading to that, those double header, we led our group. The only match we lost was against Central African Republic in Lagos, which was a bitter taste, a sour taste in our mouth.
Disgraceful.
Quite disgraceful, you know. But 3 days thereafter, we were resurgent enough to bounce back and won the other game. We led our group. Then in terms of preparation, we sat with the players, we traveled. We sat with the players and asked them what they wanted. And they told us A, B, C, D. We did A, B, C, D, E, F. Went beyond their demands. Oh, they wanted the best hotel in Kumasi. And in Kumasi, we had Golden Tulip as the top hotel. Ghana had already occupied Golden Tulip. Of course, we raised objections to it because they were meant to play in Gold Coast. And FIFA asked Ghana to leave the hotel in their country. And we kept Super Eagles there. We went with the newest aircrafts Airpeace brought. They stayed in the best hotel. The ministry and the NFF worked so closely in ensuring. Then we came back, they were quartered in a remote hotel, 5-star standard, in Abuja, giving everything that they wanted. At the end of the day, a keeper made a mistake, and the next thing they turned and were facing the president of NFF.
So are you saying Nigeria should blame the Super Eagles for not qualifying and don't look at administration?
What I'm saying is, if at that point we did anything wrong, I'm asking you to tell me. No, because it's not all about the blame game. Trust me, it's not only about, oh, you want to blame. When do you move on? When do you move on from this point to this point? I came out to say that of course, as the leader of football at that point, I accepted responsibility for Nigeria not qualifying. But nobody will tell you the pains I went through, the sleepless nights I had, the doctors I had to visit. Nobody will tell you that. Nobody wants to fail. That's the blind truth.
When you look at Nigerian football, I get what you're trying to say, but when you look at Nigerian football now, are you proud of the state at which you left it?
What do you want? If you are going into any endeavor, there must be a motive. What was my motive coming to Nigerian football? In other words, in the corporate parlance, you call it the key performance indicators. What was my key performance indicator? What was it? I didn't say Nigeria was going to win World Cup. I believe we had an interview then 8 years ago. I said I was going to introduce a culture of sustainable football development. Did I do that? I would say it's 100%. To an appreciable level, we did it. A culture of fiscal discipline, because fiscal discipline enables finance into your system. Did we do it? Yes, we did it. Will I say 100%? I can say 80%.
All right. That was our man, also Nakona Akpan, having a sit down with the former NFF president, Amaju Pini, current FIFA Council member, And of course, when the storm calms, I mean, you can see better. And of course, he was able to answer a lot of questions people still wanted to ask. And of course, he has been able to, in some cases, set the record straight, and in some cases, clear the air and give his own perspective, probably opening us up to some of the things we probably would not have known. And of course, it's left for whoever is listening to make up their minds on whether or not they think, his tenure in Nigerian football was good, or was 100%, as he says it is. All right, let's move on the show now. And of course, let's talk about the big one. We have a few minutes left on tonight's show, and we're going to spend the few minutes we have left talking about the third place and the final. Let's just go straight to take a look at the match details. And there you have it right here on your screen. The third place playoff, December 18, that's tomorrow, Croatia and Morocco. The venue is the Khalifa International Stadium. Time is 4 p.m. The time is 4 p.m. Of course, that'll be local time in Qatar. So let's just go straight into it. What is the expectation? A lot of African fans rooted for the Atlas Lions. If we want to get better than the Asians have gotten to the semi-final, we have to do one better. That's what a lot of people are saying. And guess what? The Arabs as well are rooting for them. And this is the final, the big one. Argentina up against France. Venue is the Lusail Stadium. The time is 4 p.m. Say 4 p.m. Local time. All right, so let me get the Kenyan start before I go back to Austin. We're pressed for time. You have to make it quick for me. Morocco, Croatia. What should we expect?
We should expect two teams that want to leave the tournament with something. Okay, they have come this far, so they want to at least get something. But I think the Moroccans have, they want it more. If you ask me, they want it more because this is the first time any African country is getting to the semi-finals. Croatia, we are in this final.
They already have a silver.
They already have a silver. So I think Morocco have more to prove. They have more to take. Because we want our name to be. Nobody remembers who loses the game.
Yeah.
It's who wins and gets the medal that we all will remember. So it's going to be. It's good for the top place match. At least it's good for watch. It's good for us to watch it. But I think Moroccans have more to go after that bronze medal.
All right. Let's go straight to the final. We are hearing that a lot of the FIFA legends are saying they would want Lionel Messi to win. A lot of people are saying to cement his status as one of the best to ever play the game, that if Messi wins the World Cup, maybe it puts to rest that argument. So a quick one before I get back to Austin. Does Messi need to win the World Cup for us to regard him as one of the best to ever play the game?
No.
Is this final just about Lionel Messi and Kylian Mbappe?
No, it's not. It's not just about them. I think the press is making it so. He deserves something. He deserves that because he has done a lot for football. I don't think it would be unfair to the other players and everybody to say it's just about Messi, and it's a FIFA World Cup final, and FIFA is bigger than Messi. And to say that if he doesn't win the World Cup, it doesn't make him one of the greatest players, I don't think he's right. I don't think he's done a lot in the game.
Would you still put him up there with Pele, with Maradona, without a World Cup title?
Yes, it doesn't. Not on equal. Even if he wins, it's not on equal basis.
Okay.
But at least he's in the discussion.
You mentioned him in that kind of discussion.
Okay. Even Cristiano Ronaldo, you mentioned him in that discussion. They have done so much. We have proven a lot.
Let me put you on the spot. Third place, who do you think will win?
Morocco.
Final.
That would be hard to call.
Okay.
If you go into penalties, probably 1-1 on regulation time, but if you go into penalties, because it's not something you can.
So if it goes to penalties, who do you see winning?
Argentina.
Okay. All right. Let me see if Austin agrees with you. Let me go to Austin. The news we are hearing from the French team is that there's a strange illness. Maybe it's just flu. We don't know. And they've had to separate some of the players from each other. Some of the key players in France. I mean, we're hearing about what's his name now, the Manchester United centre back Varane, and Upamecano as well. All of that on one side. And some people are joking about Didier Deschamps. Maybe we'll even have 11 players to play in that final. You look at that setting against what we hear about Argentina, that their squad is almost 100%. One is on upward trajectory, the other looks like. Would that have any bearing on the final?
I think it won't. It won't hear me. And then these are just final day shenanigans. Yes, flu, cold, or whatever is contagious. We hear about it in the French team, and so people are just, keeping the distance, and some are isolated. They need to put words out there, because the French team, they're trying so hard not to be under pressure. The odds, everyone is favoring Argentina to go on to win this. In fact, right here in Doha, there was a new twist yesterday to it. The fans are calling on Messi and his teammates to win it for Diego Armando Maradona. They said they should use this to honor Maradona. So they are giving it so much
Austin,
meaning so that Argentina can go on to win.
Let me butt in. We have just about a minute to round off the show anyway. But since you talked about Lionel Messi, the same question I asked Ikena, and that will be your parting shot. Does Messi need to win this World Cup before we put him on the same pedestal as Pele, as Maradona, and the other guys that that we call the greats, like Zidane, for instance?
It's not a yes/no answer for me because of my knowledge of football. Yes, he doesn't need to prove anything because of what he has done for football. But no, sometimes when you win the World Cup, it just confirms, your good status. And because Messi is Messi, and because he has played in the final before and didn't win it, it will just be good for him to win this one. And when he wins this one, it cancels that argument about who is bigger between him and Cristiano Ronaldo. So that's where you understand why he needs to win the World Cup.
Okay, all right. What do you think the fans will be rooting for? You've told us about the third place, but you're there.
Yeah.
What do you think the fans will be rooting for in the final?
It's Argentina. Everyone. In fact, when I asked them, who do you want to win? They said Messi. Everyone just feels this is it. It's time, or it's now or never for Messi to win the World Cup. So yes, they are rooting for Argentina to go all the way to win the World Cup on Sunday.
All right, Austin Okorakpan, I want to thank you for your time on the show. You'll be back on the other side next week. Hopefully. We'll be taking this trip together. Thank you once again. We'll do this again next time.
Thank you. Always a delight to be on the show. Thank you.
All right. Okay, Ikena, as we go, 10 seconds. Is it now or never for Messi?
Now. It might be never.
Okay.
It's not his tournament. He doesn't own the tournament, so he can go either way. So my question to you now is, if Mbappe wins this tournament, will he be mentioned the same light as Pele and Maradona?
I think he has a long way to go.
Yes, he does have a long way. But 2 tournaments before the age of 23, that says a lot.
It's massive. And the only person to have done that is the great man himself, Edson Arantes do Nascimento, known as Pele. Ikena, we got to go.
Yes.
We've had fun,
yes,
but of course, it's time we got to go. And we enjoyed this. Hopefully, we'll do this again some other time.
Yes. It will be my pleasure. All
right. That's the show today. We do hope that you've enjoyed everything we've been able to bring to you today. We'll do this again next week. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.